In the howling winds of Scandinavian antiquity, a saga unfolds, a tale etched in blood and whispered on the lips of bards by flickering firelight. It is the saga of Hervarar and Tyrfing, a cursed blade forged in the heart of a mountain, a legacy that would stain the tapestry of history with violence. King Sigurlami, a man whose hunger for power rivaled the gnawing hunger of a winter wolf, sought a weapon unlike any other. He descended into the depths of the earth, where the dwarven smiths Divalin and Durin toiled in the fiery belly of the mountain. With threats and promises, he coerced them into forging a blade that would cleave through iron like a scythe through wheat, a blade that would never know the taint of rust, a blade that promised victory on every battlefield. The dwarves, their beards thick with indignation, obeyed, but as they hammered the glowing metal into form, a terrible curse writhed into existence on their very breaths. Tyrfing they rasped, the name echoing through the cavern like a death knell. May this sword bring ruination to all who wield it. May it be a man's bane with every unsheathing, and may 3 heinous deeds stain its history with the blood of innocents. Sigurlami, blinded by ambition, scoffed at their warnings. He grasped the magnificent blade, its surface shimmering with an unnatural light, and felt a surge of power course through him. He revelled in its cold perfection, oblivious to the darkness that pulsed within. Tyrfing indeed granted him victory in every battle, but at a terrible price. The curse, like a serpent coiling ever tighter, poisoned his victories. It led him into reckless skirmishes, turning him into a paranoid tyrant, and ultimately it led to his downfall. In a fit of bloodlust, a berserker named Arngrim wrestled Tyrfing from his grasp, the curse claiming its first victim. Arngrim, a whirlwind of fury on the battlefield, revelled in the sword's power. He carved a bloody swathe through his enemies, but the darkness within Tyrfing began to twist his mind. He became a monster, a slave to the blade's insatiable hunger for violence. The inevitable doom arrived in the form of Helmar, a hero whose name echoed through the sagas. Their clash was a storm of steel on steel, a dance of death under a blood-red sky. Arngrim fell, another sacrifice to the curse. The blade then passed to Angantyr, Arngrim's son, a warrior as valiant as his father was savage, but fate, it seemed, was a cruel jester. In a fateful duel with the legendary Helmar, Angantyr met his end. His friend, Odd, fearing the curse's hold, buried Tyrfing with Angantyr in a barrow deep within the Whispering Woods. But the saga, far from ending, takes a sharp turn. Enter Hervor, Angantyr's daughter, a woman with eyes that held the glint of steel and a spirit as fierce as a winter storm. She refused to be cowed by the legends of the cursed blade. With a heart full of defiance, she ventured into the barrow, the air thick with the stench of decay and the weight of forgotten memories. Through a ritual both potent and perilous, she summoned her father's spirit from the underworld. Father, her voice rang out, echoing through the tomb, "Grant me my inheritance, Tyrfing." Angantyr's spectral form materialized, his face etched with sorrow. "Hervor," he rasped, his voice a chilling whisper, "the curse ... it is a hungry beast. Do not unleash it again upon the world." Hervor, her resolve unwavering, pleaded her case. She spoke of her right as his daughter, of the need to defend her people. Finally, with a heavy sigh, Angantyr relented. The spectral blade materialized in Hervor's hand, a chilling touch against her skin. Yet, for a time, there was peace. The curse seemed to have spent its fury. Hervor married and bore a son, Heidrek, who ascended to the throne of Riedgotaland. But the peace was a fragile thing, a mere lull before the storm. The curse, like a hibernating serpent, stirred within Tyrfing, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. It poisoned Heidrek's reign, whispering deceit into his ears, turning his sons Angantyr and Hlod into bitter rivals. The brothers, fueled by the blade's dark influence, descended into a bloody feud. Hardy, the elder, sought to usurp the throne, aided by the treacherous Huns. The fate of the kingdom hung in the balance as the brothers clashed in a battle that shook the very earth. Blood painted the battlefield red as steel met steel in a symphony of death. Angantyr, wielding Tyrfing, fought with the fury of a cornered wolf, his every swing infused with the cursed blade's power. Hlod, fueled by ambition and aided by the barbaric Huns, pressed his attack. But Tyrfing, ever thirsty for blood, seemed to crave a different outcome. Its malevolent influence subtly guided Angantyr's strikes, turning his righteous anger into a murderous frenzy. Chaos reigned. The cries of the dying mingled with the clang of armor and the guttural roars of the Huns. Yet, amidst the carnage, a single figure remained strangely calm. Odd, the old friend of Angantyr's father, watched from afar, a deep furrow etched in his brow. He recognized the telltale signs of the curse, the way it twisted Angantyr's movements, turning his defense erratic and his attacks reckless. Suddenly, Hlod saw an opening. With a cunning feint, he lured Angantyr off balance. In a flash, he lunged, aiming a killing blow at his brother's chest. But before the blade could connect, Odd intervened. With a desperate lunge, he shoved himself between the brothers, the force of the impact sending them both sprawling. A hush fell over the battlefield. All eyes turned to Odd, his aged body crumpled at Angantyr's feet. Rage contorted Angantyr's face, the curse threatening to completely consume him. He raised Tyrfing, ready to strike down his own brother over the body of their savior. Hervor, watching from the battlements, felt a jolt of horror run through her. She knew what the curse could do, how it could twist even the purest hearts into instruments of destruction. With a scream that pierced the air, she charged towards the battlefield, her shieldmaiden's training kicking into overdrive. Reaching the scene, she threw herself between Angantyr and Hlod. "Stop," she commanded, her voice ringing with authority. "This isn't you, brother. Don't let the sword control you." Angantyr stared at her, his eyes glazed with fury. The curse battled with his remaining sanity. Slowly, with a Herculean effort, he lowered the blade. Hlod, however, saw an opportunity. Seizing the moment of weakness, he lunged for Angantyr, a snarl twisting his features. But Hervor was faster. With a swift movement, she parried Hlod's attack, the clang of steel echoing once more. "This ends now," Hlod, she declared, her voice unwavering. "You will not use the Huns to claim the throne." A fierce duel commenced. Hervor, fueled by grief and a desperate desire to save her brother, fought with the ferocity of a cornered bear. Hlod, fueled by ambition and a thirst for power, fought with the savagery of a hungry wolf. It was a dance of death, a clash between a righteous heart and a corrupted soul. The tide of the battle began to turn. The other warriors, inspired by Hervor's courage, rallied behind her. The Huns, leaderless after their king was felled by Angantyr in a fit of rage earlier, faltered. Slowly, they were pushed back, their cries of defeat echoing across the battlefield. Seeing his advantage slipping away, Hlod grew desperate. He abandoned all tactics, swinging wildly at Hervor with a crazed abandon. It was a mistake. Hervor, anticipating his reckless attack, disarmed him with a perfectly timed maneuver. The traitorous king fell to his knees, his face contorted in a mask of fury and defeat. Hervor stood over him, Tyrfing raised high. The fate of the kingdom hung in the balance. Would she succumb to the curse, completing its cycle of bloodshed by killing her own brother? Or would she find the strength to break the chain of violence? The answer, dear listener, lies shrouded in the mists of time. The saga itself ends here, leaving the final act to the whispers of the wind and the flickering flames of the bard's fire. Did Hervor strike down Hlod, fulfilling the curse's final demand? Or did she defy its hold, ushering in an era of peace for Reed Gotaland? The choice, they say, is left to the listener's imagination.